One of the biggest mistakes that I see offer owners, business owners, entrepreneurs make is not being prepared for consulting calls. So, how can you prepare? Why does it matter? And what are some directions you could take this? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Consulting Secrets on a perfect day to talk about business growth, opportunity, consulting, asking questions, and a fantastic day to talk about you. So let's just say for a second that you're on the path that you want to hire a consultant, and they're going to come in and they're going to work with you for a day for $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, whatever the number happens to be. The mistake is to just show up. The mistake is to say, like, now everything is on the consultant. In all realities, if you treated this like meeting with an attorney, one of the things that you would do is you would go through and you would make a list of your departments. And if it's a general consultant that can answer a bunch of questions, you would line out the most important questions that you have when it comes to meeting with that person so that you know what to say, that you know what to do, and you know what to ask. Second, I see a lot of times on consulting calls that somebody's not taking notes. They're just kind of like there for the ride. They're there for the activity. They're like, I got consulting and we're done. But in all realities, there's things for you to remember. Now, yes, there are AI note takers. There's things like Otter AI and Fathom and Granola as of today. But even then, that action of you taking your hand, let me see if I got a pen. I do. Taking your hand and actually physically writing something allows for you to have a better memory. Okay. Number 3, the night before major consulting is a night meant for good sleep, because what happens is the amount of mental energy that it takes to think through problems and come up with solutions is more than what most people know. Now, I have seen people before high-end consulting events go out and get just hammered drunk the night before. That's their decision. They can do that. But it was an absolute waste the next day because they weren't even prepared for the first 4 hours, so the second 4 hours meant nothing to them. Number 4, hydrate. Hydrate. As you are having conversation, you start losing liquid from your body. As you're talking, as you're thinking, as you're using a lot of energy, there's a point where you're expelling a lot of thought. And if you're having water around you to hydrate and you're able to take advantage of drinking water and taking a couple of breaks, it really does work to your advantage. In this process, I would also say, if possible, write down all the questions that are being asked of you. There's a reason why those questions are there. What you're going to find is when you prepare for a consulting gig, when you prepare for time to be on your calendar, you can absolutely use it to your advantage. Now, one of the last things on this list is for you to make sure to take time to think. So let's say that next week you've got consulting with somebody who's coming in to work with you, and they're going to come in on Tuesday. So on Monday, you prepare for the next day. You make sure that you have your note-taking guide. You make sure that you have your water. You make sure that you sleep well. The day of the gig, you make sure that you're there on time, that you've drank enough water, that you have some sort of note-taking and note-taking aid for you to take the notes. And then on Wednesday is treated like a day like you're not working, you're going through the notes, and you're treating it like, okay, how do we put this together? Because it's still fresh in your mind. It's still ready for you to take a look at. I can't tell you how many times that I've sat in on consulting or I've done consulting, and the people who have paid for it have wasted their money and ultimately wasted their time. They have no ability to implement. And then what they do is they look and they're like, that's the consultant's fault. Well, a good consultant's going to tell you, you have prep work. It's not just show up and take a couple of notes. It's like, hey, you need to get a good night's sleep the night before. You need to be prepared when you show up. And the next day, while it's still fresh in your mind, you need to dedicate some time so that you can figure out what you're gonna do and the order you're gonna do it, and then fill in some of the gaps, and then set up a time a week later to go through the audio notes. So you could drop them into something like Chat, Perplexity, Manus, Grok, and have it come up with solutions for you, or have it come up with directions for you. But be aware that if you're going to spend any amount of money on a consultant, that you have a strategy to work through. Now, you don't have to do it exactly the way that I said it. My idea is just a version that I see that works for the people that I've worked with. You could say, hey, Scott, I don't like it, but at least go in with a game plan. Don't show up with hands empty. Get the most out of your consulting visit. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.